and welcome to another episode of Times Square Kung Fu. I am your host, Frankie Balboa, aka the Shogun Supreme.
And I'm Peter Glagowski, Associate Editor over at Flixist. Today we have a very special episode where we're interviewing the cast and crew of Four Graves for Ximena, a new short, choreographed by the lovely Aaron Vargas.
And directed by Jordan Satakana, and the future star right here, Angela. And I didn't say your last name because I butcher words. I ain't trying to ruin your name. But
no, it's great.
It's great you guys are here for this interview because I truly believe that you guys have something special that the world definitely needs to see, because I'm very picky. Peter's very picky as well when it comes to action films. And Aaron knows me very well on Twitter. We're very vocal. So guys, everybody sit back and relax. This is going to be a great interview. Jordan, this short film, when I saw Aaron tweet about it on Twitter, the first thing I told you via DM, I was blown away. I was shocked. I thought my boy Aaron hit it big because the way the film looks like high quality. And from my understanding, you shot this film on 16mm, and also it premiered at the Big Bad Film Fest last month. So that's a lot to digest for me.
Yeah, it was same. I'm still processing it. It was a lot of fun.
So this is the second year for the Big Bad Film Fest, right? It's run by Paul Robinson and Patrick R. Young, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. If people don't know who they are, they've done some great horror films. I remember they had something that came out for Arrow Films, so they know their stuff. And one of them, I forgot who was, as a cinematographer. Powell. So knowing that he runs this type of festival, showing what's coming out in Asia, and stuff that was independent, and you guys was chosen. How was that feeling to see that on the big screen? Because this was shown on the big screen for a lot of people, and the reception was enormous from what I gather.
Yeah, we had a sold out show, which was wild. People hooting and hollering. It's just, the way that I put it on Twitter and with Aaron is, for a lot of my life I've had people making fun of me for doing action films. This isn't real cinema. That's so silly. You don't know how to direct actors. The BS that action directors usually face.
Right. And
be at a festival that honor action films, and then they decide to honor mine, meant the world to me. That was okay, so I didn't waste my life. Okay, I'm an action director, and action people dig my stuff, which is all that matters.
Yeah.
Because that's the demographic.
Right. And
it's also great to be in a room with like-minded people who are also in action, because a lot of the people that were in other shorts were there too. And so it was great to see everyone see each other's hard work, because no one really, you watch a film, and even though you work in the industry, you really don't think about how much work went into each thing. The most minimal shots could have taken way more time than it should have. That's just because of outside factors, human error, all that stuff. So to be in a room where everyone just appreciates that this thing even came together at all, it's a great feeling, and everyone appreciates each other and giving each other props. Like Jordan said, it's great to be in a room where there's no judgment of the action genre. Like everyone here knows, action is the form of storytelling. It's also one of the hardest genres to film, one of the most dangerous to film. And the fact that no one gets hurt on these things and dies is a miracle, and it's a sign of hard work and safety. So that's why it's really important that this Big Bad Film Fest exists in general, and that our film was a part of that. So yeah.
No, it's fantastic, and being part of it, the lead actress right here, which caught my attention, because talking to her before recording, I didn't realize how much of a natural you are. So you're going on an action film and don't have that much of a background in action. Like you told me, you just got into it during the pandemic or so. So explain to me, once this script came about, which is not dialogue in it, what made you jump on this project?
Oh my goodness. It's a funny story because I it was pitched by Jordan a little bit of like a rough idea of how it was going to be. He just said, "Do you want to be part of this film?" It wasn't until day one of rehearsal when I kind of thought what this was going to be. When I walked in and I saw 3 guys there, and I, introduced myself, and we're like all at this gym getting ready to rehearse and learn the choreography. I met Aaron, and Jordan was there, and it was like, all right, so basically these 3 guys are gonna be fighting you. But and then I have to learn the whole choreography, and they were way more experienced. They are way more experienced than I am. They're actual professional stunt actors. They are so talented, and I'm so grateful that I got to work with them because I learned so much. They were so giving and patient with me, and especially Aaron, because I felt so green about it. I didn't have much experience in training. I had a little bit of a martial arts background, Muay Thai and boxing. Maybe I took like 1 stunt class, like tricking, some
Right.
kicks. It was very basic, and to translate martial arts to like stunt work, which is completely different. It's almost like just a dance, and it's a lot of coordination, which like I'm not the best at either. It was such an awesome experience, and I feel like I really challenged myself, and it was so cool.
Nah, you came off like a natural because I noticed your boxing stance, like it was so fluid, like you were so comfortable with it. So that's what I had to hit Jordan up. I'm like, yo, has she done this before or not? Because you showed a lot of traits in this short. Because I was, I was like going over the hill how good your facial expressions are, your delivery. So do you have a strong like acting background before doing these type of action films?
Yeah, I mean, when I moved to LA just like a year and a half ago, I decided to take acting, concentrate on acting completely, and I have been taking classes with some coaches. I'm currently in a studio, but before then, the most I did was just a couple plays in college for fun. It wasn't even my
Right.
major, but I've just watched a lot of movies, and I'm really into Broadway and theater, and I kind of just grew up with a musical background as well. So I feel like, I don't know, I'm also Latina. Like I feel like the expressions, I'm very expressive, and I've always dreamt of just, daydreaming as a child of being like a female warrior, and I feel like I daydreamed about that for so many years because of the films I watched. It kind of just came to life with this character that Jordan gave me the opportunity to play with. So
And you did that to the T because going back to the technical aspect, because I know Peter was to chime in on that, but before I get into the technical stuff, the choreography. I noticed right away when I spoke to Jordan that I had a 90s feel with new age mixed in. Was that something that you, Jordan, and Aaron intended right off the bat?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say yes. I think from the get-go, Jordan gave me his idea of what he wanted. And I think, one of the first references he ever gave me in general when we first met was Koryun and kind of this kickboxing style. And so I wanted to make sure that in the fashion of Koryun, there was some nice hard-hitting choreography, but also incorporate moments. We want Angela to have moments as well. Like we want cool choreo, but we need, even when she got hook kicked in the face by our buddy John Tiang, who did a nice little spin hook kick on her. We wanted that to be a moment as well because we need to see her journey. We need to tell the story through action, just like Koryun, right? He tells the story through action. He builds character through action and through fights. But then when it came to the style, we know that she had a Muay Thai background. She's done boxing classes. She's flexible. We can easily, transform Angela into like a kicking machine. And so that was definitely something we wanted to incorporate. And luckily, we had someone in Angela that was willing to do it and willing to put in the hard work. And it was hard work. It's not easy, right? Like Angela was saying, it's coordination, it's choreography, it's dance with partners that you don't even know whose their rhythms are. People, when you see fight scenes on these shorts blocks on YouTube, these guys are friends. They know their rhythms, they know their speeds, they know their tempos. Angela didn't know any of us. Didn't know me, didn't know John, Tosh, Chris. So they all had to figure each other out. And so Angela showed all signs of wanting to be in it and didn't show any signs of quitting or anything. So I really appreciate her for that. I really do, because it makes my job easier. All I have to do is say, do this, do that, and she goes ahead and does it. And we refine the techniques and we all do all that. So yeah, I mean, the choreography was great because of the fact that she was just willing to learn it. And she didn't want to change it, right? I wanted to work around her, but she's like, no, fucking let me do what I gotta do to get it done. And so I appreciate the shit out of that, for real.
So how long was the process? Because a lot of people don't know how long it takes to do to choreograph a scene. Because we heard in Hong Kong, they got like 3 months to shoot a scene, but in the West, we got like a week. So how long do you guys take to do this?
Did 3 rehearsals with 1 previs.
Yeah, 3 rehearsal, 3 rehearsal or 2 rehearsal?
2 rehearsals, 1 previs. Sorry.
Yeah, 2 rehearsals, 1 previs, which is not ideal. And the reason why it's not ideal is because we're shooting on film. And if anyone knows anything about shooting on film, is that we don't have playback. Yeah. So we had to
meet up
twice.
Well, on this one, we did have playback because I got a specific monitor on purpose, which is the Atmos monitor that you can record what you're seeing. So there's specific shots where we need to make sure that this is fucking.
So look, all you up and coming filmmakers, he gave you a little hack right there. All right, y'all shooting on 16mm, yo, to get playback.
No, just like it's pop in a little SD card and it records what the monitor is seeing. And there's a lot of takes that we gotta do it again. We just watched playback and it fucking sucks. We gotta do it again. But with her.
No, continue.
And there's only so much film. Yeah, and there's only so much film that we have as well, right? Like, we have to make sure we don't run out of film as well. And even though we have playback, we have to make sure we keep the takes as minimal as we can. That way we can move on to the next thing. And if we can reshoot later, we can. But, as the days going along, sun shifting other places, lighting changes, you just have to keep moving. And so, it's crazy.
Yeah, because I know Peter got some technical stuff, but he wants to ask you because the film is a technical. It looks beautiful. Everybody kept saying that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that was the most striking thing to me. Not that Aaron's choreography wasn't good. It's just I was more marveled by just the technical specs of it because, I mean, the shot on film look is astounding, and then the color grading for it specifically looks very, very fitting for the type of story you're trying to tell. So I would just like to ask, what is the process of going through color grading for a movie shot on film like this?
Yeah. So the colors that I used, he worked on one of my other shorts, which is called Trapo Sucio, a Fungo Western, and he's done some of my music videos. And we have found that you can push it to a pretty intense extremes. For example, on a music video that I had shot on film, the scene where we had blue lights, and I just got really bored cutting back to this scene. Some way, somehow, he flips it where the blue turns yellow, but the skin tones remain the same, and it's like this weird thing where I don't know how it works. There's some sort of like digital alchemy happening. And I'm like, okay, copy and paste that for the shot on digital, and it doesn't work, right? And I think one of the things is that the grain is not being colored when you're coloring it. Versus on digital, the noise changes. So it's like I can fuck with skin tone, or rather, the guy can mess with skin tones, and I can be like, push the sun, push the sky even more. Definitely did on this one. It was So it's a different process. It gives you, in my opinion, a lot more room to experiment and to push it because people like grain. So heck yeah,
I love me some grain.
Talking about grain and the way some of the shots are composed in this action short, it feels a lot like I told you. It made me want to watch again, Let the Corpses Tan. It had like a Western look to it. So you're showing off with your influences. So let them know about your influences, man. Because this film doesn't look like a typical action film.
Yeah, no, I've always felt like my style, I call it like Tony Leone. It's like Tony Scott and Sergio Leone had a baby. That's me. This film in particular is like really inspired, obviously, by Tony Scott, Sergio Leone, Corey Yun, Choi Hark, and Wong Kar-wai. There's like a lot of Wong Kar-wai in there, which some people would pick. That doesn't make sense. He's only done 2 martial arts films, but it's like, yeah, it's still in there. there's a certain earnestness to his films that he's not afraid to be emotional. And it's extremely inspiring to me. Plus, of course, the undercranking on 12.
Yeah. No, I saw some great stuff, but it's something I want to ask. Back to Angela. Like, you seem such like a natural on the film. How much did you get leeway to improvise? Did you get to improvise during the filming?
No, not really. I mean, I think it was more improvising with Jordan on the spot. Like he gave me the idea we were gonna do the fight, and that's what we had rehearsed. But there were times where during filming, he would just come up to me be like, "Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you give me this emotion? Or can you try to give me this what do we call it? The terribilità in Italian Baroque art history. They have this it's like a stare that you do after like a war, like after you've defeated your opponent. Give me that. And I was like, yeah. And it's kind of like, it's almost a tragic. So we were just going back and forth in this creative, dialogue about how we wanted to bring the emotion to the film, even if it's been. And I had so much fun with that because I'm all about that. Like, I'm all about emotion and vulnerability and telling a story, and bringing the warrior to life with like her own tragedy, and it was awesome. So we kind of improvised on the spot, and
it's like jazz.
Like
honestly.
jazz, yeah. It was really cool.
And the film was very much like jazz because I say it's so much raw, like emotions on display, especially with Aaron's choreography, like the impacts, the hooks, and everything. And one thing I want to know is, did Aaron, do you have any input in the editing of the film, or did Jordan just ask you, what do you think of this shot? Like, how did that work?
I trusted Jordan 100%. I mean, like in the post process, I gave it all to Jordan. I mean, Jordan understands the cinematic language and he understands the action language. I am there as a choreographer, I am there to execute his vision. That's the thing I like to do as a stunt coordinator, as a fight choreographer, is how do I execute your vision? You're the leader of this project. This is your baby, all right? So I am going to treat your baby like with the utmost respect, and if you give me the freedom, I will use it. However, I'm going to also respect the fact that this is your project and you want it to look a certain way. So when it came to post-production, that is like, I just trust Jordan with 100% to do the choreography justice. He knows his stuff. He likes the right stuff, especially. The one thing I didn't hear from Jordan, which I'm so grateful for, was, can he make it more John Wick or Jason Bourne? Oh my God. The amount of directors that I get.
I love John Wick, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Love it, but
yeah. And you see the way Jordan cringed, right? Like, that is like the level of like stuff we work with sometimes, where people just like, so I just, my boy Jordan knows what he's doing.
It's funny you mentioned that. Oh, is he cutting off? Oh, there you go. Because Jordan, remember when I DM you, I said like Ray type action. Yeah, like usually people want that. But I'm glad that Aaron said that, because it shows you how much, it goes back to what you said, how much you love these action films, because there's been many cases where they film gets a good choreographer and the director just butchers it in editing. So it shows how much you know your stuff.
Appreciate that, and I think it's also important to capture those things. The one thing that John Wick does extremely well is there's a rarity in close-ups, meaning I know exactly what's happening at every single moment in time within the action. Especially the fourth one, which they shot on the Alexa LF, so it's a much wider frame. It's like that was really John Wick 4, not the choreography, but the kind of classic way of shooting action is really inspiring to me, because Chad Stahelski will barely move his camera unless he has to. It's like almost like a David Chung type of vibe. Really inspiring. But like to add to what Aaron is saying, the choreography of like what people are into these days is a little bit too much ripping off instead of being inspired by it. So for example, to answer your 90s question and answer this one at the same time, I just wanted it to have like a Korean Hong Kong vibe with like a 90s twist, with some style, and as Aaron called them, moments where it's like tornado kick here, but let's do a bunch of normal moves that a normal human can make without the assistance of editing or wires. and just make it as brutal and hard hitting as possible, but with flair and style. And I think that I got that from The Raid, which is one of the most brutal martial arts series. Obviously, Timo topped it, and then keeps going, making more and more brutal. But boy, are the Raid movies super brutal, and that's what I want to hit, is the kind of horror gore reaction where the audience goes like, "Oh my god, I'm hiding behind my eyes. It's too much." Like that's what I want to hit. And I think with the neck snap, people were that was sick. People in the audience were like, "Ooh."
Yeah,
So
I loved seeing everyone's reaction.
Yeah, I saw some of the IG videos and stuff. And talking about hard hitting, I cannot I gotta mention this before I forget it. The music from what was it? Joshua did it.
Yeah, Joshua Hendrick.
You gotta tell him how you got this banging soundtrack, because
Oh, dude, the best. He's the man. He's been my friend for 10 years. We have been massive Hans Zimmer nerds, and this is the kind of nerd he is, that he got a job with Hans Zimmer and then became his assistant because he's like, I love your work so much. And he has a philosophy that Hans taught him, which is treat the director like a band member, to the point where some of the drums is me on the keyboard telling him like, this is the actual like beat that I wanted, which is bum 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 bum, and it goes just do it. Then he recorded it. But the process to what we landed on, honestly, was the biggest inspiration is this Tony Scott film called The Fan, which takes this kind of like this like Trent Reznor electronic industrial sound mixed with Media Ventures 90s sound that we are so used to. So honestly, imagine if the soundtrack for The Rock and Trent Reznor had a baby. That's the score for The Fan. Really inspired by that and Morricone, and I was like, let's find if those two dudes had babies, let's find what that baby sounds like. And it was
you guys nailed it. Like, that's the second thing I asked you when I DM you. Like, yo, bro, please tell me you're releasing this on vinyl or something. This soundtrack, it's
on Spotify. Check it out on Spotify. It's dope. And
we're gonna link that to the description. But we're mentioning the soundtrack is gonna be available on the description. What's going on with the short film we keep talking about? Are people gonna see this, the masses?
I want to release it essentially when this video is out. You can go to my page or Frankie's page and it'll be there.
You heard that, folks. Exclusive drop, bro. We're doing drops now, just like Nike's.
Drop, let's go.
Just like Nike's in the Supreme store, bro. We're doing some exclusive drop. You know, because I really want people to see this. The short film is like close to 7 minutes long. And it felt like the longest 7 minutes ever because I didn't want it to end. And
in a good way, not because it's slow, right?
Yeah.
No, it's just I wanted more. I'm like, I was so the immersion. You guys did so much with so little. It's ridiculous. And it's just I want people to see this film for anybody who's an aspiring director, cinematographer, to see this because you do a lot of impressive stuff there. Yeah, we're doing the King box office. You know, but I want people to see this because you do a lot of stuff that film students, like you mentioned about mimicking, they mimic, but they don't understand why it works for that director and not for them. You know, so I want people to see this and how you put this together because Aaron could have sent me this clip and I could have put, I got the leaked trailer for Kill Bill 3 that never came out and people will believe it.
It's funny you mentioned that because Angela and I, one thing that we really connected is Uma Thurman's performance in Kill Bill and how emotionally charged and driven it is. That like each sword slice that she does, you can see her eyes thinking about her daughter. Like that's like all she's thinking about. It's funny you mentioned that because it was a really big source of info for how to do grief through violence, if that makes sense. And
yeah, that makes sense.
X-Men 94. Regular X-Men. 97. Yeah. My bad. But regular X-Men and like the Chris Claremont run, I was really inspired by the way that they colored Jubilee. So that's why I gave her yellow and red because I really like the Chris Claremont comics, especially God Loves, Man Kills. Perfect. One of the best X-Men comic runs of all time.
So, Angela, are there any actresses you currently follow in action films?
Actresses, you'd be surprised. I don't really have anyone that I hold up high. Honestly, it was just when I was a kid. I was so inspired, and you would not believe this, by Robert Rodriguez Spy Kids, Carmen's character.
Oh, that thing is awesome.
As a kid, I was growing up during that spy era in film, so like, a lot of Agent Cody Banks, Spy Kids, and Catch That Kid, and that just hit me so hard that it kind of drove me to like wanting to kind of be that older. But for me, it's Tom Cruise, somebody who's always impacted me since I was a kid, and especially in The Last Samurai and Mission Impossible. And I kind of wanted to just do that female version. I want there to be more female characters written, not like gender bent, but like written specifically for women. And I love that Jordan was able to do that and not sexualize a woman in action, but to give her so much power and to give her a really great story, even if it's just in a poetic way. Like, there was no dialogue, but there was so much being said. And I want to be able to take on more roles like that and be my own hero. That sounded so cheesy, but
No,
I'm so
Great.
That sounds amazing. I'll vote for you if that was your speech.
Let's go.
Yeah. So, Jordan, do you have any future projects lined up before we like wrap this up?
Absolutely. There's one I'm trying to get off the ground. I got 2 short films I'm trying to get off the ground. One of them is a horror short I want to shoot on 35 and 16. One is this like massive action thing called Nowhere. For now, it's called Nowhere to Run. We'll have to shoot it on digital because we're gonna steal a lot of shots in Los Angeles at night. So it's like you're gonna want to use like an FX3 type of like a low light sensor. And then, of course, the same thing that every man and woman in Los Angeles is doing, which is trying to get a feature off the ground. So, as any investors, bro, I got some features for you.
So, Angela, you got anything lined up for you as well? Because you're an amazing actress already, from what I've seen.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm working on 2 films right now, 2 short films. Really awesome character studies. One is romance, and the other one is like action. I'm going to learn how to ride a motorcycle on Thursday just for this project, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, I think Aaron's gonna make you do the Michelle Yeoh motorcycle jump.
Oh, boy.
Let's go. No wires.
No wires.
No wires.
And yeah, that's what I'm working on for now, and they both shoot in October, so it's back to back, and I'm super excited about that. So,
Yeah.
And then we'll see what's.
Yo, because I know Aaron got a dip. Aaron, you got anything you want to say before you bounce?
Yeah, man. I got a couple. I'm in October. I'm going to go to Atlanta to shoot a horror slasher. My buddy Chandler Bally, who directed my western last year, Death After Dusk, is doing a 80s slasher type flick set in modern times. And guess what? It's shot on 16 fucking millimeter. So let's go. My character is a stuntman in it, and I find out what the killer's. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I get a fight scene with the killer. So he's giving me all reins to show off and do some cool stuff, and so I'm excited for that. I just got SAG eligibility, so I'm looking forward to getting more projects on the line and start actually working on some big stuff in the future. Yeah, so big news, big stuff, and and before I go, Frankie, thank you so much for having us on. Thank you very much, Jordan. I tell you all the time, brother, but thank you for bringing me on this project. Thank you, Angela. Thank you for being so easy to work with. Thank you. Like, you guys are the easiest people to work with. You guys are the funnest people to be with. And,
I love you, baby.
The whole weekend of feedback was amazing. Thank you, bro. I love you too, guys. But yeah, I just want to say that I'm really grateful for you guys and your friendship, and same for Frankie and Peter as well. Thank you, guys. You guys are such a nice, positive force on Twitter. It's very refreshing. So yeah,
I appreciate that, man. I mean, I'm just trying to put good shit out there, man. Just like music, bro. You got to put it out there. Can't gatekeep that. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and you guys put an amazing project, and whatever platform, the platform that I have now, I had to shed light. I had to. You know what I mean? You guys are killing it. Yeah, Aaron did, man. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, I'm out. I gotta He just went like dip. My man had the hitman attire. Like, yo, I gotta go do a job. You think I learned action? Nah, I put that.
Put the gloves on.
Yeah. But now, Jordan, thank you. Angela, thank you for taking time to conduct this because I want people to know who you guys are. You guys are on the rise. I'm telling you, like next year's gonna be different for you guys. I see it. I know. I'm Dominican, bro. I know these things. We see things. And plus, we come from the Guatemala background. We know this thing. Aries, hoy es tu día. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh,
Hell yes.
okay.
Hell yes.
Muy bien. Thank you
But-
so much.
Seriously,
But
thank you
yeah.
for this. This is pretty cool.
But yeah, we're gonna
This is-
drop
I've
4
been banned for a while.
grades. Yeah, we're gonna drop 4 grades of Peters. Please help me with the last name.
4
Please,
graves
oh,
for Ximena.
Nah, I'm just messing around. But now 4 grades of Ximena, we're gonna have that drop on Twitter when this video drops, and you guys are gonna enjoy it, man. Like I love it so much that I might do my own criterion case for it and all that. So we'll see. But guys, man, thank you for being part of this, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. And until next one, say peace, people. Say peace. Hey.